3. Hey y'all, it's Betsy. So today we are going to be doing our review and demo of the Makeup Revolution Emily palettes, which is the Wants, which is the eyeshadow palette, and the Needs, which is eyeshadows, bronzer, blush, highlight, and a setting powder. Now, I am also going to be demoing the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Master Collection brush set. This is a huge brush set. It is expensive. It's $165, but you can use the code ADOPTLOVE, which that money, that 10% goes to helping the animal shelters to save 10% off of it. The only reason I purchased this is, as you know, I have a ton of brushes, is because I'm doing a lot of traveling lately, and I wanted a complete full brush set that I could travel with that had a case, so that's why I purchased this. Now, and we are also reviewing the Revolution Makeup Fast Base Stick. To start off today, we're going to start off by priming our eyes just like normal. I'm using the Milani. Let me move my mirror so I can see what I'm doing. Primer. Blend it in all over your eyelid. And typically I like to start off with eyes, because if you're using bright or dark colors, sometimes you can get fallout, and it's just the easiest way to keep things clean. Now, I have used both of these palettes. I've actually used all of this stuff other than the brushes, and I really enjoy it, but there's a couple of things about it that I'm not too sure of. Let's see. We're going to take the JH32, which is just a big crease brush, and we're going to dip into the color, the cream, which is just a nude shade to whitish nude shade, I should say, to set our whole eye. I find that colors blend better whenever your eyeshadow primer is set. But if you're working with harder pigments, sometimes you don't want to set your eyeshadow primer. Now what we're going to dig into is we're going to go into Hobby. I'm going to use that same brush, and that is going to be our transition shade, because we're going to be doing, I want to do a green smoky eye with this, because I've messed with a lot of the colors. I haven't messed with the greens yet, and I really like green eyeshadow. So that's blended in. But I've messed with the Love Tons, the Cheer, Heartbeat, Top Story, Apartment, Laugh Cry, Oh Heavens. They are all really good shades. So far, I really, really like this palette. Now what we're going to go into is I'm taking the JH34, which is just another crease brush, and that's another reason why I purchased this set, is because I wanted a lot of crease brushes and eyeshadow brushes, because I do a lot with eyeshadow, but I don't need everything else. Now I'm digging into the shade Corduroy, which is like a matte tealish forest green shade, and we're going to keep that in the crease, but we're bringing it all the way through, because what we're going to do is we're going to use that Side Hustle shade, I think, for our lid color. Okay. But I really like this palette so far. For someone who is wanting to get into color but not wanting something too crazy vibrant, these are really, really good shades. Fun to play with. I enjoy it. So there we go. And so far, with all the colors that I have used, I have not found any patchiness. Some of the colors do require some building up, but that's okay with me. I'd rather build them up than them be too harsh to begin with. And as you can tell, there's not a lot of fallout from this. Now I'm just taking the JH 34 that I was using to put down my crease color and softening the edges of that teal. Or foresty green is really not a teal. Now we're going to go in with a smaller pencil brush. This is the JH39, and we're going to go to the dark and early shade just to deepen up that crease. And I've used that shade before too. It's super, super pretty. There we go. But nothing major. Now I'm going to use my finger. Now there is some kickback in the palette and you can blow it away, and I do like that it is fully plastic because that way you can get in there with a makeup wipe and clean around it, because I like to have a clean palette even though a lot of them look really messy, because some of the fabric and stuff that is on the palettes themselves can be really hard to keep clean. But with it all being a true plastic, you can take and clean it up pretty easily. So I'm just using that color Side Hustle, which is like an olive green shimmer, and placing that all over the lid to make it almost a halo eye, but without using concealer to carve out the crease and all that. Now I think I'm going to also take this shade Grateful, which is like a lighter goldy green, and place it just on the center of my eye to help brighten everything up. See how much brighter that looks? Not sure if you can see in the... So now I'm just going to take my crease brush again and smooth around where I put the shimmer. So there you go. That's all nice and applied. Now what I'm going to do is take a makeup wipe, and we're going to take and use the edge and clean up at an angle so that way it almost creates that cat eye effect. Now we're going to prime our face. We're using the Milani Prime and Perfect primer, which this is almost empty, so it will be in an empties video. Which my skin right now is broke out. I get hormonal acne, especially on my chin whenever it's that time of the month. Oh, the joys of being a girl. So just smooth that all over. Now we're going to use the Fast Base Stick, and I will honestly say I really do not enjoy this foundation. It is a little light, and I'm using the shade F7. But what I really don't like about it is how it texturizes my skin. And a lot of products don't like to blend over on it. But we'll just go with that. Now I'm going to use the JH03, which is just a foundation brush, and buff that into the skin. Now this shade is a little light for me, and if I liked the foundation a little bit better, I would probably get another shade. But as I said, I do not like the way that this goes on to the skin. But when you use a brush with any foundation, you are going to get more coverage out of it. So there we go. So far, I like these brushes. So get that blended in, and it doesn't really like to stick to my nose. And if you could see the texture that this has, that's really what I don't like. But I wanted to demo it for you. So if you have texture to your skin, this may not be the foundation for you, because I've seen other people who really like this foundation, but as I said, for me personally, I don't like what it does to my skin. Blend it down the neck. Now we're going to use the Makeup Revolution concealer. This is in the shade C5. I also have the shade C6.5, which I think is a little bit better shade match for me. But with this foundation being so light, it does not work well with that shade. So as you can see, now we're going to take that same foundation brush and blend it in. And I've tried this foundation with the Beauty Blender. It didn't do me any favors either. It still looks super duper patchy. And even their concealer and stuff doesn't like to lay over this the best. So I would definitely not recommend the Fast Base foundation stick, at least if you have skin like mine, which is more on the oily side, or at least right now it is. It just does not work real well. And to say something about the foundation, my husband, the first time I wore it, noticed that my skin looked terrible. He was like, "What are you wearing on your face? What did you do?" So, and it gathers, as you can see, around my nose, but doesn't want to stick to the bridge of it. I don't think there's any help for this foundation. So there we go. Now we're going to take the JH01, which is just the big fluffy powder brush, and our Real RCMA powder. And we're going to take and set everything. But even when you set this, it still does not do good things for your skin. But it still, the products, any other products really don't blend out well over it. And where I put the powder, you can see so much texture. As I said, this is just not my favorite look. But, so you can see what we're doing. Now we're going to go into the Emily Edit the Needs palette, and we're going to take the JH02, and we're going to go into the bronzer shade, which is Courage. Get some on our brush and bronze. But I've used this with a different foundation, and you see how patchy that applied? It does not apply that patchy on other foundation. Now, one thing I do not like about this palette is I wish these pans were a little bit easier to dig into, because they are kind of tiny. But for 15 bucks, you can't beat. But nothing, as you can see, likes to blend over this. We're going to take, not that one, the JH10, and see if we can contour our nose just a little bit. Oh my goodness, this foundation is terrible. Now we're going to take the blush brush, and we're going to go into the shade Joy. This is a gorgeous blush, and it works on a lot of different skin tones. There we go. Got that all blended in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do our lower lash line. We're going to stay with that color dark and early in that same pencil brush and keep it tight to the eye. And then I'm going to just take a clean blending brush and smoke it out and lighten to make it blend a little bit better. Now we're going to take the JH42 and we're going to go into that shade Oh Heavens to highlight our inner corner, which, as you can tell, this is not the most pow inner corner, but it works beautifully. And then we're also going to use that same shade and same brush to highlight right beneath our brow bone. And I'm going to take that same clean blending brush just to kind of smooth out over where I highlighted. So far, the eyes and everything look good. It's just the way that everything's blending out over the rest of it. Now I'm going to take the JH06 and we're going to go back into the Wants palette. And we're going to go into the highlight shade, which is called Gratitude. There we go. And highlight our cheekbones. So now we're going to get into doing our brows. Now that brush set, it does not come with a brow brush, which kind of sucks. So I'm just using my pure My Little Pony collection and my Too Faced Brow Envy in the shade Brunette, just to go ahead and fill in my brows. There we go. And I like to keep my brows looking pretty natural. I don't want them to be too filled in or too perfect. I'm not a big fan of, for my face or my age, the Instagram brows. So as you can see, all of the face makeup is done. We're gonna go ahead and use our MAC Fix Plus and set it. There we go. Now what we're going to do is curl our lashes, apply some mascara and some lip gloss. I'm just using my same old eyelash curler that I have had for 20 years, seems like. And once you get your mascara on, it definitely helps with making your eyes stand out. And I'm using the BH Cosmetics Bliss Lash. I really like this mascara. It's probably one of my favorites right now. It adds a lot of volume and a lot of length. So there we go. Now, last but not least, we're going to apply some lip gloss, and I'm using the Pixie and Chloe Morello lip gloss in the shade Lip Icing in the shade Cake. It's a beautiful, neutral, glittery gloss. So, my final thoughts. I really, really, really love the face products, both of the Emily palettes. As I said, there is some kick up with this, but all of the shades so far that I have used are absolutely gorgeous. They blend beautifully. As you can see, the Wants palette is absolutely stunning. The Needs palette, not on this foundation, at least not on me. Nothing wants to blend well. But when I've used it with other foundations, these 3 shades are absolutely gorgeous. So for if you're looking for something simple and easy to bring with you, this is a great palette. And for 15 bucks, and this one's 20, they really perform well. You get a lot of color payoff and the pigment is amazing. Now, the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick, I would skip it. It really does my skin no favors, and I'm sure other people feel the same way. Just not that good. But I think that's it for today. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And also don't forget to hit the little subscribe button right down below. If you hit that with the notification bell icon next to it, that will notify you when we post new videos, which is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We will have a new Crafting for Disney video up on Friday. Other than that, check me out on all my social medias, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. And I guess that's it. So thanks and see y'all next time. Bye.